But my next guest is the Master Inquisitor who, when he gets a bee in his bonnet, just won't let go.
Did you threaten to overrule him?
I did not overrule Derek Lewis.
Did you threaten to overrule him?
I took advice on what I could or could not do.
Did you threaten to overrule him, Mr. Howard?
Scrupulously in accordance with that advice. I did not overrule Derek Lewis.
Did you threaten to overrule him?
Mr. Marriott was not suspended.
I note you're not answering the question whether you threatened to overrule him.
The important aspect of this, which it's very clear to bear in mind...
I'm sorry, I'm going to be frightfully rude, but...
Yes, you can...
I'm sorry. It's a quite straight yes or no
question, and I will give you an answer.
Did you threaten to overrule him?
Please welcome Jeremy Paxman. In the same way that
ancient history, that was your colour.
It was, and in the same way that blue paint and decking follows me around, I suspect that follows you around, Jeremy.
So, yeah.
There's a degree of tenacity. What there also is about, often on Newsnight when I watch it, is a degree of weariness on your part. You do seem to get very weary of them and irritated by politicians.
It is very irritating listening to people not answering the question, isn't it?
I agree.
Or talking out of their fundament. You know, I mean, it's frustrating.
And yet you carry on. You still obviously want to do it. You still think it's worthwhile.
Nothing. I think, you know, we're incredibly lucky to have jobs where you can find things out. I think it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Because you don't always give the impression of enjoying it. You look very weary.
I'm very sorry about that. You're a very rude man.
Oh, I treasure that comment. Who is the most difficult or the most irritating politician you've ever had to interview, aside from Michael Howard?
Or you.
Or me.
Well, no, actually, to be honest with you, the most difficult is always the one you're... Whoever it is, whatever it is, whether they're a, you know, a Prime Minister or a milkman, it's the person you're about to interview, because you think, God, am I going to ask the right question here? Am I going to... Is it going to work? And, you know, sometimes it does work and sometimes it doesn't. So I don't really want to give you and I am evading the question, and I'm not sure I'd put up with this answer. I don't think I would, really. No, but I think I'm evading it because it's the truth. The truth is, you know, the thing that makes you apprehensive, nervous, that you're concerned about is what you're about to do.
Your next interview. Yeah. There's a growing disaffection with politicians and politics, I suspect, in the general public. There's certainly around where I am. Does that pervade your life as well? I mean, you less respectful of politicians generally than you were?
No, I don't think so. No, I've never...
You still respect them even through all this?
That isn't what I said. You asked me, was I less respectful? No, I'm not less respectful now than ever I was.
Have you ever had any respect for them?
Well, I mean, I do firmly believe that you have...
This is beginning to sound like Michael Howard.
Well, if you would let me answer, I will tell you. Do you want to know or not?
I do.
I think politics matters, therefore politicians matter. If we don't have politics, we've no other way of solving our differences. Politicians matter, but we should treat all promises with a bucket load of salt.
But well, that's a fair, you know, indication that they don't mean much. Promises. If you have to treat them with a bucket load of salt, these are the people we put in power.
Scepticism.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, democracy's a weird arrangement, isn't it? These people stand, they will ask for our votes, and we say to them, make us some unrealisable promises, then. And then they do, and they turn out to be unrealisable. We say, well, get rid of you, let's have another lot in. You know, that's how it works. We deceive ourselves to some degree.
Yeah. Let's get on to the book, shall we?
Do let's! I think you're getting a bit difficult now.
Jeremy Paxman, Empire, what ruling the world did to the British. Obviously not in a nutshell, because it's an inch and a bit thick, but are we still suffering or experiencing what we did to the Empire or what the Empire did to us nowadays?
Well, I think so. I mean, the reason I wrote the book was because I'm fed up with people pretending that the British Empire didn't exist. I mean, clearly it did exist. It was the main purpose of this nation for over a couple of 100 years, and it has lasting effects upon us, not the least of them being that it has changed the very genetic makeup of the population here. By which I'm referring to, you know, Commonwealth, Empire, Imperial immigration to this country. That is a really serious change. I think that there are all sorts of other things too. For example, the fact that we live in a united kingdom of England and Scotland. I mean, the Scots joined the Union because the country had been essentially bankrupted because they'd been unable to form their own empire. They had a crackpot scheme in South America. So it also consolidated the position of the monarchy. It was a royal enterprise, and we ruled in many parts of the world through local princes and kings and queens. It's, spread English as the international language. It has made the United States our main, most powerful ally. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of ways in which it affects us every day. The readiness of... Tony Blair sent British troops to war in 6 wars. Margaret Thatcher deployed troops overseas. David Cameron deployed troops in Libya. Now, I suggest that they would not have done that had it not been for the fact we had an imperial experience. And
well, so it's a tradition, then, you mean?
Well, a tradition is well, it makes it sound like makes it sound like dancing around the maypole or something. It's not. It's much more serious than that. But there's a cast of mind there. We have a different relationship with the rest of the world to the relationship that many other nations have, I think. So
you're saying that the empire is long gone, but the attitudes of an empire-building nation are still there? Is that the essence of the book?
Well, not attitudes of... The attitudes are clearly very, very different now. We mercifully think about the world very differently. I mean, there was this central contradiction, which was that we can make people free by conquering them. This is a very, very odd idea indeed. But I think that it informs how we behave now, and many of the things we think about ourselves in the world. I mean, one of the reasons we've got these problems with Europe is because, basically, we've never trusted Europe. We haven't trusted Europe because our main interest for hundreds of years was ensuring that no particular nation in continental Europe should get powerful enough to menace the empire. So you just wanted a balance between them. Europe's been nothing but trouble, historically.
So would you get out of there fast?
Get out of where?
Europe.
No, we can't geographically move the nation. You mean get out of the European Union?
Yes. Become
less
close to Europe.
That's like saying, here, I'm digging... I know you dig holes for a living, but that is digging a hole and saying, why don't you dive head first into it?
You're by nature a very irritated man, really.
Well, you're a very irritating man.
I do hope so. When you started writing the book, did you set out to answer your own questions, or was it to sort of promote a thesis, the theory that you have?
No, I didn't have a theory at all. I just had a question. I mean, I know you're a spring chicken, but we're, roughly the same wrong side of 40. And,
Your hair may be whiter than mine, but I'm actually older than you are.
What's the secret, then, Titch?
It's healthy gardening and a sunny outlook, Jeremy, to be absolutely right.
I've got a sunny outlook. What are we talking about?
I don't know. It's good fun,
isn't it,
interesting,
really? Anybody? I'm not sure it was, I mean, I'll be the judge of that.
The series comes out, then, in the new year.
Yes. There's a television series that goes with it, and that comes out in February, yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
We look forward to it.
Well, so do I, frankly. It's a mystery as to why it hasn't come out now.
Something else to be angry about.
I'm not angry. Would you stop? Very difficult, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of my favourite interviewees of all time, Paxman.